Once I hit you with that bad space, you ain't coming back. No control, all delete you, give me space. Like time, hit you with that bad space, you ain't coming back.
What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to Angels with Scaly Wings. Thanks to our friends over at Like Games for giving us the opportunity to check out this game. It's a visual novel. I'm just going to tell you that right now. Get that right out into the open. If you're one of the fantastic people, just magnificent people that dropped into our comments last video, whether it was to answer the PYP or just say hello, here is the comment we chose on screen. The PYP for this video is as follows. Would you rather dress like you did in middle school for the rest of your life, or answer every call from a telemarketer and engage in conversation with them until they hang up? My dressing in middle school wasn't the best. It wasn't terrible though. I mean, it's like kind of like what a child would dress up like in middle school. It's not like I stuck out like a sore thumb, dressing like a crazy person. Would it work today? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. When I was in middle school, it was the 90s. Oh, I'm so old. But anyways, so yeah, it wasn't that bad. I don't know. Part of me actually would go with the telemarketer. I think a lot of telemarketers, they get bad slack 24/7. They're just trying to do a job. You know, I just let them know. Like, I'm not gonna buy anything that you're selling right now. I'm not looking to pick up anything that you're talking about. But how's it going? Like, how are you doing? Right? Tell me about your life. What's the goods, the bads? Where are you from? So I guess I would go with the telemarketer. But let me know what you would choose down in the comments below, whether it be dressed like you did in middle school for the rest of your life. For some of you, that might be last year or a couple years ago. For others, it might be a millennia ago. I don't know. Or answer every call from a telemarketer and engage in conversation with them until they hang up. That might be your jam too. I don't know. Let me know. But let's jump into the game. See if this is good. I'm thinking like maybe not. But the last one blew me away. I really enjoyed the last one. For a lot of people that think that I don't like visual novels, which you're right, the last one was great. That's a game I will continue to play. System. Detecting user profile. User profile not found. Do you really need to do this? Okay, so our name. Just make it really easy on ourselves. We got blue, red, yellow, green, gray. Show more colors. Let's go with green. Sure. Before we start, please review the following information. All right. You to advanced text and oh, it's like we've never done that before. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Okay. Cool. Cool. You broke the fourth wall. Amazing. The year is 20XX, just like in Mega Man. But this is nothing like Mega Man. Only recently has humanity discovered a portal that leads into a different world, populated with a race of intelligent talking dragons. We know the last one. The last one that had a portal with dragons. Those dragons were dicks. I was one of a few to travel to this world. But maybe I should start at the beginning. It all began when we discovered a strange device in the middle of nowhere during one of our expeditions. A portal. That is the portal. I heard about similar technology before, though it had been more on an experimental level. From what I knew, other portals had been created in the past and were under consideration for mass application. As for this one in particular, though, we did not know who had built it, nor when or why we found it in the wilderness where we did. What was more exciting to us was the fact that it was functional. After our first test, we found that there was someone else on the other side who was in possession of a similar portal, and our attempts at communication through letters were successful. But in the end, the machine's extraordinary demand for power meant we needed to act quickly, as we wouldn't be able to keep the portal open much longer. When we made this known to the other side, we received a very unexpected reply, a letter of invitation. After some deliberation, it was decided to accept their hospitality and send a person to the other side. The portal closed, they're gone, could be dead. There was an individual who took the job almost immediately. It was this dude. Reza is Quirerdo? I'm gonna go with Reza. I knew him, or rather, had known him because he's dead. We attended the same school back then, and even had a few classes together. We never really were very close friends, but we talked to each other occasionally and hung around with the same crowd sometimes. However, we still went our separate ways in the end. I wasn't sure what to think about the whole thing, but he had to have known that what he was doing. He certainly was brave. Or dumb. Either of that, or just very, very foolish. That's what I just said. Well, I wasn't sure which. His courage was applauded by others. After all, he couldn't possibly have known who or what would await him at the other end of the portal. And if he did meet someone there, who knew what kinds of intentions they might have? They may have ate him. Not that any speculation on our part would have made a difference, because he's already gone and dead. When the day finally came, through he went, with applause echoing across the area, equipped only with the clothes he wore, his multi-tool, a gun, and a device on his wrist that acted as a PDA. Then we waited. The crowd that was applauding him slowly dispersed when the enthusiasm died down, as there was nothing for us to do but wait and speculate. Approximately 8 hours later, we received our first message from him. While we had assumed the portal led to another in a different country, another portal, or maybe on a different continent, the reality turned out to be much more foreign. The situation he described to us was so outlandish that we initially took it as a joke. A very bad joke, maybe, with even worse timing and no punchline at all. It soon became clear to us, though, that we may just have made one of the most important discoveries since the dawn of mankind. Finding the portal had been remarkable itself, but this took it to a completely different level. From what he described about the place, or more accurately, its inhabitants, we surmise it could not be part of Earth at all. We called them dragons, because according to Reza, that's what they were, or at least what they resembled most. Even though we we found it hard to believe, it had been these dragons who sent us all the letters, and what Reza found on the other side of the portal was a whole civilization of them. They could talk, write books, had buildings and electricity. In many ways, their society was actually very similar to our own. So who were they? And where was this place? Could they be aliens? I was just thinking, I was like, like how I'm talking and reading this and how it's kind of portrayed gives me that idea that this is like a special on A&E. And I got like that crazy hair. And I'm like that guy being like, aliens. Our speculations led us to conclude otherwise. After all, we knew about the existence of thousands of planets, millions of light years away, that may have been theoretically inhabitable. Yet even then, we had never found conclusive proof in regards to actual alien life forms. Some people brought up quantum mechanics and parallel universes. But in the end of all this was just conjecture and an ultimately fruitless endeavor, since we neither had the means nor the resources to explore the possibilities in greater detail. I think there's just one more thing worth mentioning before I move on. The previous isolation had been mutual. They hadn't known about any other intelligent life form beyond their own. Their portal had only recently been discovered and was a technology previously unknown to them. And just as we had myths about dragons, they had myths about us. That was what we knew about them so far, and as interesting as learning those things and debating their culture's significance was, we didn't really know what we should make of it all. Reza apparently was sure of what he was doing though, as he eventually let us know that they had agreed on a trade. We were to give them a few of our PDA devices, which contained vast amounts of knowledge, dwarfing even that of encyclopedias. In return, they would supply us with generators. Overall, they didn't seem as technologically advanced as we had been, but they did surpass us in that one aspect. Just generators. Specifically generators. Their means of generating energy seemed sustainable. Not only that, but evidently also quite efficient. We certainly would be able to put technology like that to good use, and trading mere past knowledge of the human race for something more tangible was a good call on his part. That was where I came in. My prior experience in both biology and sociology made me a good fit to deliver our PDA devices for the trade. And while in the Dragon's world, waiting for the prototypes of our generators to be manufactured by them, I would act as an ambassador on humanity's behalf. What a way to make a first impression by a display of mutual goodwill. Everyone benefits and everyone goes home happy. All is well. At least that was the plan. Despite the images that living, talking dragons might conjure up in some people's minds, I didn't even think of bringing a weapon myself, considering that they were reportedly friendly and peaceful enough. There was no need for me to fear potential ill intentions like Reza did when he had stepped into unknown territory, and acting as humanity's ambassador, I had to do my best to uphold a high standard in fostering this diplomatic relationship. When the time came for me to step through the portal, all my mental preparedness vanished. My anxiousness was fueled by all the questions lurking in my head just as the machine started to do its work. Would it hurt? Who would I meet on the other side? What if they really weren't so friendly and just made Reza write those letters with the pretense of appearing friendly, only to lure us into the den of man-eating monsters and certain doom, with us ending up as nothing more than a tasty afternoon snack? Maybe I should have brought a weapon after all. Suddenly, I felt a shiver coursing throughout my whole body and beyond when I disintegrated, as if every cell, every atom of my body was torn from me and pulled into a different direction. I saw darkness and light painting patterns in the stars as I traveled, and images rapidly flashed before me of things unseen and unspoken, both horrifying and beautiful. It was an experience unlike any other, yet over in just a split second. Then it was dark. I could only see a patch of lighter color contrasting with its dark surroundings as my vision started to clear. Its edges got sharper as the patch of light slowly took shape, giving me a distinguished outline of a reptilian head and an array of horns spouting from it. So, man, it was a dragon, and as I could now see, a dragon who not only had a pair of round glasses, but also wore a burgundy tie around its neck. Remy, in the name of our people, I bid you welcome. If I may introduce myself, I'm Remy, your guide and ambassador, a representative of our council. The dragon spoke. It was one thing to have heard and read about this, but something else entirely to have one standing in front of me, in flesh and blood, and tongue. It was good that all my mental preparedness had disappeared when I was teleported, because nothing could have prepared me for this. Sorry, I imagine you might still feel the effects of the teleportation. Drowsiness or weakness is not unusual, as is fainting and spontaneous emptying of your bowels. That's lovely. Bladder or stomach, how do you feel? Yeah, you might shit yourself, piss yourself, and then throw up, but how are you feeling right now? Rendered speechless, I had totally forgotten that I was shouldering the burden of representing my people to them as well. So much for my being professional, but at least he gave me a good excuse for my blunder. I think I'm all right. Well, I'm glad to hear that. Maybe we should go before it gets too dark. Come with me, please. So I followed the dragon, not straying too far from him, as the sun had already departed for the day and the remaining light diminished by the minute. It's getting hard to see where I'm going. Sorry about that, but we had a good reason to schedule your arrival like this. We did not want you to be ambushed by a crowd, so we had to keep your exact time and date of arrival a secret. Thanks. I suppose an event like this would make me a celebrity of sorts. It would be the same if one of you came to us. That's quite an understatement. Some people here are rather superstitious. They might regard you or any of your kind as divine, I suppose. Really? How so? We do have certain myths that involve humans, and as such... Oh, I suppose the history lesson will have to wait for another time. Here we are. By this point, it had gotten so dark that I could barely make out the building before us. I briefly wondered whether they might have street lights elsewhere, or if they just did not require any due to possible enhanced eyesight or night vision. I could vaguely see the dragon, his light colors still visible within the blackness that engulfed the area, rear up and manipulate this door handle with one of his forepaws. Hinges creaking, the door opened, and with the flick of a switch, the apartment was flooded with light, blinding me after all the time we had just spent without it. This is where you will live for the time being. It is fully stocked, but in case you need anything else, I left you a note with a few phone numbers. It is getting rather late, so I will have to take my leave now. In any case, someone will come and meet you tomorrow morning. Thank you, Remy. Have a good night. Until we meet again. With a nod, Remy left the apartment, mindful enough to close the door behind himself. Surveying the room, I considered the events that had just transpired as my gaze met the window. I could see movement outside, and as I drew nearer, startled, I could hear footsteps in the grass moving away quickly. Assuming it must have been the dragon I just met, I thought nothing of it as I went to bed and slowly succumbed to the sweet allure of sleep overdue. I don't know how you could actually sleep, to be honest. I spent a few moments thinking about my role, my mission, and what it meant to be here now. I felt the responsibility placed on my shoulders. I was eager for the adventure to come. Hello? We're just not moving past this point. I don't know if you can hear, but I'm actually like smashing the A button to move forward. So we'll just end it right there. I don't know if the game is actually broken or if it will continue. Again, I would say that, I mean, it's okay. It's kind of your standard visual novel. The other one's still, the last one with the weird brother-sister thing, way better, in my opinion. It got that anime-esque. There's a better flow. This is just kind of like, yeah, this is like your atypical visual novel, but there's dragons in it. That's it. But it's not my decision. It's your decision. So let us know down in the interactions below, whether it's be the likes or through comments, if you want to see me continue playing this game. So until next time, remember, whether you're online or offline, stay focused and get yours. See ya.